Coming to you from a studio somewhere out there, it's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy O'Connor.
Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever. This is Enough Already. I'm Fingers Malloy. Tracy L. Connors is my co-host. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Fingers.
How are you?
I'm just fine. How about you?
Oh, I couldn't be better.
Yeah.
I should be drunk right now.
Okay.
That's what I should be. I should be drunk. Because humanity sucks. Human beings are awful. How can you be driving down the street and just let 5 wood pallets fly out of your truck and you just keep going? How does that happen? I'm 2 weeks out from this accident, and my car still isn't fixed. And I'm probably going to be out $700-800 in my own pocket. Out of my own pocket. Because some dirtbag was driving down the road and just decided to deposit 4 or 5 wood pallets in the middle of a state highway. Asshole. Fuckface. What's new with you?
Nothing that dramatic.
Is your car running okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Got 4 tires?
Yep, last time I counted.
Yeah, nice. Are they fully inflated?
I believe so.
Oh. I've got 3 tires and a spare. And 2 of the full-size tires are flat right now. After it was fixed.
I'm a little bit shocked that the dealership didn't check your tires. If I were you, I would call them and ask some questions about that nicely.
Here's what I think. I think that Joe Blow was responsible for fixing my car, and all he was worried about was the oil pan. So he kept filling the tires up. Hey, those are my responsibility. I'm only here to fix the oil pan.
Maybe. Or potentially it just didn't start leaking. It was up on a lift the whole time. So there's nothing putting pressure on it. Oh, I guess that's not true. They wouldn't have put it up on a lift for 2 weeks.
No. It's been on the ground. I'm sure that he's got a slow leak in his tires. Yeah, because I was in an accident. You were supposed to look the whole thing over.
Yeah, with wood and nails and...
Oh, there's probably, wood and nails in the tires.
Mm-hmm.
Not my problem. Your oil pan's fixed, though. I'm going to have to buy 4 new wheels and 4 new tires.
And insurance isn't going to cover this, or this is just your assumption? Because you want to go a little black rain cloud on this one.
Well, no, they're only buying 1 wheel. Right. I have to buy the other 3, and the tires, I'm either going to have to just say, screw it, I'm buying 4 new tires, or I have to make a they have to add on to the claim. I don't know if it's called a supplemental claim or whatever the fuck. All I know is that I thought I was done with this.
Nope. It's never that easy.
It's easy for Joy Reid.
I know. She's just done with it.
When Joy Reid announces she's done with something, she's done with it.
No, you have to bring a panel in and have them tell you it's okay to be done with it.
So do I need a panel of mechanics?
Yes.
To show up at my house and reassure me that it's done? Everything's okay?
And one of them will reach across the table and grasp your hand and look into your eyes lovingly and tell you. You think that absolutely happened yesterday morning on her panel.
Why is it so hard to be a righty and so easy to be a lefty? Why?
Oh, I don't know, Fingers. Does it matter, really?
I bet Joy's car doesn't even need tires.
I bet she just has a driver.
Yeah. And the car floats in the air.
Yes.
It's a hover car. And then if her hover car breaks down, she bitches to all of her liberal friends. Oh, my hover car broke down. Shit.
I hate when that happens.
Oh, it's just first world problems. So you can say anything.
Yes.
If you're a leftist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's totally cool.
Is this a news flash for you?
Oh, wait, it's just the latest example. This and the whole Tom Brokaw thing.
Right.
For those that don't know, apparently Tom Brokaw tried to get handsy with a chick, a skirt, and now
sure.
All the you got Rachel Maddow and
Andrea Mitchell
coming out saying, "Oh, Tom never."
Along with something like 60 other women.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the only two names that have been announced publicly as defenders of him are Maddow and Mitchell. And then my question becomes, well, did he just leave them alone because of their attractiveness level?
Oh, Andrea Mitchell is a fine-looking woman for 117
Have you seen her in 4K?
Old. No.
Oh.
I mean, for being 120.
No.
No?
No, it's frightening. Since getting a 4K television, I have to tell you, people on the news are way more unattractive than I ever imagined.
Well, it's got to be easy walking around. It's got to be hard walking around with only 1 pint of blood in your entire body. That can't be easy.
No, it can't be.
So I missed the whole panel discussion yesterday on the what's the name of her show? Jump for Joy or
AM Joy, which trends every weekend on Twitter.
How is that possible?
I don't know. This is why I watch it from time to time.
People watch it?
Mm-hmm. Myself included.
Oh my God.
I find it entertaining. But I feel like we got to jump back a little bit to set this up.
Okay.
Before we get to the panel.
Okay.
So Joy Reid got busted back in December, I believe it was, by a left wing, according to, this is how Glenn Greenwald wrote about this at The Intercept. He described this Twitter guy as a left wing guy that found these old blog posts of Joy's that she had used some defamatory language, according to these are leftist standards that a fellow lefty is trying to make her live up to.
Did she have like a blogger account?
Yeah, I believe it was actually. It's called the Reid Report.
Oh.
No, I think it was on Blogspot.
Yeah, it's Blogspot. Wow.
Yeah, so this left-wing person, Jamie Maz, found these posts, and a lot of it was making fun of Charlie Crist and painting him as a closet case.
Okay.
The governor of Florida. Those of you who do not know. Yes. So she referred to him in her posts as Miss Charlie all the time. Which is okay. Not bad. So this is, let's see who's reporting this is on this. So this is Glenn Greenwald writing about this in The Intercept. So she apologized last December, Reid, for a series of homophobic blog posts she wrote from 2007 to 2009 about the then Florida governor, Charlie Crist, whom she repeatedly remarked as Miss Charlie and ridiculed with ugly anti-gay stereotypes. And for those of you who are familiar with Glenn Greenwald, he wrote for The Guardian for years, then founded The Intercept. I believe he's founded it, whatever. He's most famous probably for being the journalist that Edward Snowden took all the information he got when he dipped out too, and Glenn Greenwald is also openly gay. So, Miss Charlie, wrote Reid, was someone who, if he ever got to the White House as John McCain's vice president, as if that was ever even floated as a thing, would be fixated not on policy, but on designing pretty napkin patterns at state funerals and spend his honeymoon, quote, ogling male waiters.
Wow.
Yeah. So in her apology, Reid insisted that she has some gay friends, which I thought we're not allowed to ever use that defense. And, quote, the LGBT community includes people whom I deeply love, and that her writings were insensitive, tone deaf, and dumb. So this is her response to these things that were unearthed back in December. So this same guy that found these on Twitter went and found more posts. which Greenwald characterizes as far more toxic, bigoted, vicious, anti-gay than what appeared from her old blog posts. So there's a thing called the Wayback Machine. Are you familiar with this, Fingers?
No.
Okay, it's connected to archive.org, which is a nonprofit organization that I believe I read this morning was set up in 1996. And its mission is to basically capture the entire contents of the internet for posterity.
Okay. That's quite a mission.
It is. And they have a ton of other stuff in addition to this, but they have archives of all websites that they feel are worth tracking, I guess. I mean, they started in 96 when there were, 5 websites? Mm-hmm. So apparently this Reid report, Joy's blog, made the cut.
I wonder if fingersmalloy.com made the cut.
Well, you can go search it at archive.org.
Oh.
So this guy, Jamie Maz, found the articles using the Wayback Machine.
Okay.
So Greenwald continues. Unlike the post for which Reid apologized in December, which she said were intended to mock the hypocrisy of the GOP. Fair enough, right? Mm-hmm. These newly discovered articles have nothing to do with GOP hypocrisy. They are just hateful, bigoted, and homophobic in their own right. And remember, he's working from a leftist lens on this. Some of this stuff I could hear being said in certain things that you and I listen to. Mm-hmm. Potentially. They do go a little far. I mean, if Limbaugh ever said any of this stuff, the Stop Rush folks will be up in arms
right.
again. So she defended Tim Hardaway at one point, who was, aggressively anti-gay comments. I don't even know what it means. He said, most straight people cringe at the sight of two men kissing. Okay. She couldn't go see Brokeback Mountain, she wrote, because she didn't want to watch that. This is what constitutes as horrifying and things. I guess it's insensitive and crass. But is it horrifying? I don't know. If you're living in the leftist standard, of course it is, right? I thought
hearing that, I can still get out of bed and function as an adult. It's not that horrifying. Can you? I mean,
yeah.
Are you going to be able to get through the rest of your day?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes. And this one I found funny because she apparently, I don't know what her haircut looked like back then, but I think this standard could be applied to her today. Mm-hmm. She opposed Harriet Meyer's nomination to the Supreme Court by implying that Myers was a closeted lesbian and comparing her lesbian haircut to those worn by the presidents of Now and Glad. I mean, to me, this is just kind of funny. She could have gone with the I'm just a comedian joke.
Yeah.
Right? So they continue on in that vein.
It's funnier than Joy Behar.
Yes. Oh, man. So Greenwald continues, this time acknowledging and apologizing for these viciously bigoted posts isn't what Reid did. She did the opposite. She denied that she ever wrote them. Or at least she denied writing some of them. This is where it gets all murky. Mm. So how then did they end up on her blog under her name, Greenwald asks. According to Reid, she was the victim of hackers. Mm. Somehow, nefarious disinformation agents managed to hack not her blog, which is now deleted, but rather the Wayback Machine and its digital archive. They penetrated the Wayback Machine and then, according to her, added some anti-gay content. Mm. So this is hilarious. So she's hired a legal team on this, and they brought in experts.
Oh.
So this is what she says in her statement. Or this is a statement put out, I believe, by her legal team, whatever. In December, I learned that an unknown external party accessed and manipulated material from my now defunct blog, The Reid Report, to include offensive and hateful references that are fabricated and run counter to my personal beliefs and ideology. I began working with a cybersecurity expert.
Anyone from Fusion GPS?
Potentially. Chris Steele's all over. No, you know who you go to for cybersecurity expertise if you're a Democrat? It's CrowdStrike.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Okay, let me continue. I'm a cybersecurity expert who first identified the unauthorized activity, and we notified federal law enforcement officials of the breach. That's right. They went to the FBI with this. This is how far she's gone into believing that she didn't write these things. I'm serious. That's a huge delusion, right? I know that the human mind is capable of really bizarre things. Like, when people lose an arm or a leg or something like that, then they have phantom limb syndrome, and they can still feel that. Okay, that's your brain playing tricks on you. I don't know what this would be categorized as, but it's clearly like a mental block. She's just so far into this lie that she's got to rope in the FBI. So the manipulated material seems to be part of an effort to taint my character with false information by distorting a blog that ended a decade ago.
I gotta say, and I hate to interrupt, but during our whole secret right-wing meetings that we have weekly, topic number 1 or 2 is how are we going to bring down Joy? What can we do? We must destroy her and her flying car.
Well, The Intercept brought in a cybersecurity expert whom they name as Jeffrey Carr. And I would imagine that Greenwald knows some pretty decent cybersecurity experts after having worked on the Snowden stuff. So to ask him, they wanted him to weigh in on whether it's possible to hack the Wayback Machine. And he says he doesn't know. I've never heard of that happening, but it doesn't mean it couldn't, I guess. But was it the very last post that she published? Because if it wasn't, and depending on how her blog was set up, then there may have been more than one copy that would have needed to be hacked, blah, blah, blah. So this is a pretty intricate hacking operation if that's what went on, right? And it also matches with some of the language that she's tweeted over the years and other things and the stuff that she acknowledged prior to this, et cetera, et cetera.
But Tracy, she has gay friends.
Right. Well, here was an update that was posted to this article. This is a comment from the Wayback Machine internet site, archive.org. The organization maintains the Wayback Machine Internet Archive issued a statement this afternoon on its official blog. Here it is. They write that in December, Reid's lawyers contacted them and requested that they remove her blog from their archive on the grounds that it had been tampered with. In response, they, quote, let Reid's lawyers know that the information provided was not sufficient enough for us to verify the claims of manipulation. And thus they declined to take down the archives. This is just, it's stunning. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen somebody go this hard to protect a lie. Have you?
This is channeling her inner Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. I mean, this is bizarre. And the Daily Beast, whom she wrote for, right? She wrote for that site. They kicked her ass out. And they had a decent piece about all of this that lays this all out. She brings in the damn FBI and all these things, and it's all contradictory, and the story keeps changing. But then the second to last paragraph in this, where they've just addressed the idea that somebody hacked the Wayback Machine. This writer says, that's an extraordinary claim, and so far the bits and pieces of evidence offered for it have not stood up to scrutiny when they've been specific enough to test. So keep that in mind. Here's the next sentence. If she wasn't hacked, it doesn't necessarily follow that Reid is lying.
Ah.
Right?
What?
Yes, and this is how they totally get away with saying this. This is how their mind has reconciled these things. Her decision to hire a security consultant to investigate the posts and a lawyer to demand access logs for her blog account suggests she genuinely believes at least some of the posts were planted.
What?
I kid you not. And that's almost the exact same defense she offered on her show. She believes she did not write them, and that is enough for everyone to let her go.
Okay, so let's play the game that I hate playing.
Okay.
And that's, what if a right-winger did this? Alex Jones had a Blogspot account. And there were some posts that were highly racist.
Uh-huh.
And he denied it and then went so far as to contact the FBI to try to get the FBI to investigate it. Now, wasting the FBI's time, I would think...
Well, and lying to them, apparently.
Yes, it's a
crime. Even if you believe your lie.
Yeah.
does not make it not a lie.
There would be charges brought up.
Absolutely.
And she's going to get away with it because she's a leftist with a flying car.
Yes. Well, see, Fingers, I think you should institute this and see how it works in the real world. And you should sit here now, and for the duration of the time that we're recording, I want you to believe that you do not have 2 flat tires.
I have to end the show early today, Tracy, and I'm going for a Sunday drive.
Excellent.
In my car. It should work out well. I've been so excited to get my car back. I'm going to go out for a Sunday spin.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
We'll see how that works out.
But so I was awake on a Saturday morning. So there's this new thing that I do where I wake up really early, which I really hate. And I tuned into Joy's show. Well, I was fascinated to see what she's going to say on air because this was building over the course of about a week and a half. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you were able to grab the sound or not.
Well, I have all 3 minutes and 42 seconds. How much of this do you want to play?
I think she gets to the believe part pretty quickly.
Okay, we'll just start from the beginning and see how it goes.
All right, so everybody's waiting, bated breath, 10 a.m. Saturday morning. What's Joy Reid going to say? Go ahead.
Good morning and welcome to AM Joy. A community that I support and that I deeply care about is hurting because of some despicable and truly offensive posts being attributed to me.
Okay, hold on. So let me get this straight. And this is over the weekend. I've been seeing a lot of people blow up over what's happening at Red State, and really, a lot of people. And this isn't. I'm not pinning this on the Red State people. Just people in general really take themselves too seriously.
Yes.
Do you think that the gay community is hurting today? They're hurting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Over her comments.
Well, you have to remember, this is her lens. In their world, words are violence. And that's not a joke. And several people on the panel talked about this because the panel quickly shifted from, Joy, you're absolved, and they might as well have just thrown holy water on her, to talking about the violent rhetoric coming out of the Trump administration.
Well,
how dangerous it is.
Can I take a second here to talk to our friends in the gay community?
Sure.
Okay. Friends in the gay community, this is your pal Fingers Malloy. You're going to get through this. Okay? I think if we all try to get through this Joy Reid situation together, we'll be able to move on with our days and weeks and months. But you need to stay strong. If you do stay strong and try to move on with your day, you'll get through it.
And remember, Fingers, in the immortal words of Hillary Clinton, we are stronger together.
That's right. It takes a village, Tracy L. Connors, to get past Joy Reid's hateful rhetoric. We can all do this together. Gay, straight.
Don't forget trans people, because she was called out for hitting trans people, which I believe she addresses pretty near to the top of the show.
Trans and pans and whatever the hell.
Otherkins.
Yeah.
Yes, all of them.
Okay, let's start this.
Good morning and welcome to AM Joy. A community that I support and that I deeply care about is hurting because of some despicable and truly offensive posts being attributed to me. Now, many of you have seen these blog posts circulating online and in social media. Many of them are homophobic, discriminatory, and outright weird and hateful. My friend found that.
I know, because I wrote them. Shh. Oh, I'm sorry. Apologize.
If only she had Tourette's.
In December and sent them to me. I was stunned. Frankly, I couldn't imagine where they'd come from or whose voice that was.
I couldn't remember which voice in my head came up with these. But I'm batshit crazy.
In the months since, I've spent a lot of time trying to make sense of these posts. I hired cybersecurity experts to see.
I'd love see the tab for this delusion.
I hired cybersecurity folks to tap into my brain to try to find out where these comments came from.
You think she went and had an MRI?
See if somebody had manipulated my words or my former blog. And the reality is they have not been able to prove it.
Did you hear that? The reality is they have not been able to prove that her blog was manipulated. Now wait for it. Go ahead.
My former blog. And the reality is they have not been able to prove it. But here's what I know. I genuinely do not believe I wrote those hateful things because they are completely alien to me. But I can definitely understand, based on things I have tweeted and have written in the past, why some people don't believe me.
Listen, I understand that I can't claim that both my blog and Twitter accounts were hacked.
Right. Well, I can also understand not remembering writing things. You and I have written how much stuff on the internets over the years.
I
don't remember everything I've written.
No, but I do. Maybe I'm more conscious of this because I'm a white male. And you have to worry about damn near every word you write on the internet.
Right.
I don't make gay jokes, racist jokes on the internet. Or in general, by the way, I should point out.
Right, that's the thing. Neither one of us would have written any of the things that she believes she didn't write.
Right. So I find it hard to believe. Very hard to believe. But again, I say that coming from a white male's perspective. Apparently, if you're a liberal, and in this case, a black lady, you can say whatever the hell you want to on the internet and get away with it.
Yeah. You should see, if anybody's interested in seeing the lefty response, you can just go check out the hashtag AMJoy. And I look at it around the time that this aired, which was Saturday morning at 10 a.m. It's all these laudatory, Joy, oh, thank you, we believe you. It's gross. I'm blue checkmark liberal Twitter. The only people I really saw pushing back were Glenn Greenwald, who just skewered the whole thing because he saw it as I did. So she goes through it. That's enough of it. We don't have to listen anymore.
You sure?
Yeah. I mean, that's the best part. That I truly do not believe that I wrote this stuff, even though there's no evidence. And I wasted a ton of money and a ton of people's time and roped the FBI into this, which tells me she doesn't believe the Russia stuff as much as she thinks she does, because why would she waste the FBI's time on this?
Right.
Or she's deluded herself into thinking like, oh, I'm so effective at taking on the Trump administration that they got their Russian trolls to hack the Wayback Machine. I'm not kidding you. This woman is clearly delusional. So is it that far out of the question that she would think something like that in her mind and convince herself of this?
People are just unbelievable. There was a blogger that was talking about the whole red state thing.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah. For those that don't know, Salem is the company that owns Red State Town Hall. There was a house cleaning over at Red State. A lot of good people were fired. But the point was, people were getting on the internet, and everyone apparently had to declare certain things. And one person said, I think that anyone who follows me knows that my record on Donald Trump is clear. And I'm looking at this, and I'm saying to myself, you're a fucking blogger. Get over yourself. My fucking record, or my record on so-and-so is quite clear in this. Your record? Who the fuck are you? You're a blogger. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Stop taking yourself so damn seriously.
And yeah, you get paid to write your opinions.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if they do much original reporting.
Oh, at Red State?
Yeah, or is it all commentary on stuff other people
It's all commentary, and this wasn't necessarily someone who writes at Red State. This is just someone in general that writes.
Oh, they need to declare.
They publicly declare their stance on Donald Trump. It's clear to anyone who knows me. Well, nobody's I've joked about this a lot. I realize, I've been doing radio for 8 years now, either podcast or on terrestrial. And when something happens like the North Korea...
or we're on the path to ending the war.
Yeah, they're on the path to ending the war, or what's going on in China. I know when something significant happens in the world, people don't wake up in the morning and think to themselves, gee, I wonder what Fingers Malloy's take is on this. I must know. But then, because I don't take myself that seriously, I get on Twitter and I see these people who write for blogs acting as though people are hanging on every single word they write.
When you would have thought, in the case of the Never Trumpers, that 2016 would have illuminated that for them.
Yeah.
They went to the mat to stop Trump, and nobody cared.
Right. And here you've got Joy Reid. Joy Reid has a television show.
She's on 2 days. She's on Saturday and Sunday. 2 hours on each day. And she trends #1 almost every week on Twitter.
And I look at her and I hear her words. She has the audacity to say, I know the gay community is hurting right now because of remarks. Nobody gives a shit about your remarks.
That's not true.
Other than the Twitter mob.
But it's amazing to me, Fingers, how much people really do care about this stuff and how worked up they get. And it happens on the left and on the right. And it drives me insane. And that's why I try to stay away from both of the extremes on that.
But do you think that, honestly, if you polled 100 gay people and said, what do you think of Joy Reid's remarks? I'm guessing 96 of the 100 have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, and 98 of them probably have no idea who the fuck Joy Reid is.
That's potentially true.
And yet she gets on television and says, I know the gay community is hurting because of some remarks I allegedly made. Mm-hmm. Or things I allegedly had written that I'm not even sure I wrote.
She doesn't believe that she wrote it.
I'm sure I didn't write it.
Yes. Yeah, the I'm not sure I wrote would have been a little more subtle.
Everyone needs to get over their fucking selves.
But come on, Fingers, it gave her a perfect opportunity to have this parade of people on there from all these victim groups. She even had what's that guy's name? Jose Vargas. Are you familiar with him?
The name sounds familiar.
He's the undocumented dude that we're supposed to call him that. He's the illegal alien that's always all over television. He's the only one that doesn't live in the shadows that we're always hearing about. No, I mean, the man's allowed to go, he goes into news stations to do interviews. It's not like he's constantly hunted by ICE.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's got a double whammy against him, Fingers, because not only is he an illegal, but he's also gay. And his grandmother told him she was more afraid that he came out as gay than as an illegal.
Because, it's 1915.
Right.
It's not 2018. Christ.
Oh, but it was such a freak show. It was so funny. And they're all, none of them, I tweeted this out and I believe this to be absolutely true. None of those people have an ounce of self-respect. They sat there and they took that. And to me, if I was one of these marginalized groups and these people that are able to be hurt by words, I would have said to her, Joy, you're full of shit. If you gave a damn about us, you would admit to writing those things and offer up a sincere apology.
Yeah, that's where I was just about to go here. Is I would have had a lot more respect for Joy Reid if she would have said, you know what, I had a blog back in the day and I was trying to be funny, and as we all know, the internet is much about clickbait. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to get clicks, and I said a lot of really stupid things, but I want to sincerely apologize to everyone who has read these words and are offended by them. You should know from my broadcasting career that I'm a flaming liberal social justice warrior. and I'm really on your side, and I just said some stupid things, and I apologize.
Right.
I would have a lot more respect for her. Yeah, then I'm going to the FBI.
Time-traveling Russian troll bots have attacked my integrity.
Unbe-freaking-leavable.
Oh, man.
So, how is she? Was she even... Look, I freely admit I don't pay any attention to basically anything anymore when it comes to this stuff. Was she suspended at all? Even for a day? An hour? 10 minutes?
No. Are you kidding?
Wow.
And the first segment of that show went on for about a half an hour, 40 minutes or something like that, uninterrupted. So it's just this parade of all these people from different groups. And it switched very quickly over to hating on the Trump administration. Let's talk about the real bigots.
Wow.
So they're not listening to Mr. Kanye West's request that we all act out of love instead of hate. Reid just took the hate that was directed at her and just redirected it.
Well, good for her. Good for MSNBC. I cannot believe that she can keep her job. I can't believe there isn't a, I don't know, you watched the show. Who advertises on AM Joy?
Tom Steyer.
What is that?
Oh, you don't know who Tom Steyer is?
No.
He's the billionaire that's on a mission to get Trump impeached.
Oh, okay.
And he runs these really heartfelt commercials where he talks right to the camera and tells you what danger we're all in.
Like T.
The world has never been more dangerous. Yeah, I mean, and he's running them on CNN, which, on Sundays I flip all around and try to catch something on every one of the channels. And I was watching, I believe it was during the State of the Union with Jake Tapper on CNN this morning, and they had just wrapped up a segment talking about the historic peace talks between North and South Korea. And, they begrudgingly give Trump some credit for it, although they like to be like, oh, it's all the sanctioned stuff. It's not that Trump went on Twitter and just stood up to that little dictator. He called him all kinds of names, which, of course, they were like, oh, my God, he's going to launch nuclear missiles at us. And, oh, yeah. And it turns out it kind of worked. And so they cut away from that segment, and the first commercial is Tom Steyer talking to me about how dangerous Trump has made the world. And I'm like, ooh, this is poor ad placement. But maybe not if you're stuck in that ideological bubble where it's just like, no, he's super duper dangerous despite all the evidence to the contrary. Nothing's going to shake me out of this.
But there's not going to be a movement to pull any of the advertisers off of AM Joy.
No.
To me, I cannot believe when stuff like this happens. First of all, libs are very good at circling the wagons. But secondly, you would think is there not another person at MSNBC that's talented enough to host a crappy weekend show? Really? There's no one else on the left that could take over?
No. They love her. That's the thing. It doesn't matter at all.
Wow. This is what I would like to see happen. If I were a billionaire, I would make a secret agreement with Joy Reid. I would say, here is an account with $50 million in it. Say bigoted things. Write them. Say them on the show. Let's see how long you can stay on the air. It'll be a little experiment. And when it's all said and done, if you do eventually get fired, here's your $50 million. I just want to see. I want to see what one of the other voices in her head pipe up and say something, maybe this time about the Jews. She hit the gays.
She did attack Muslims, I guess, or made some comments that are considered, what do we call those? Anti-Muslim. They don't have
an Islamophobe.
Yeah. Islamophobic. Yes,
Yeah.
she made Islamophobic comments.
Okay, so she's gone after the Muslims. She's gone after the gays. She needs to go after the Jews.
She's gone after the trans, and she specifically has tweeted several times at Ann Coulter calling Ann trans.
Oh, nice.
So I thought, is Ann going to be on this panel? No, of course not.
Native Americans, we got to get her to go after Native Americans. And I would just sit
sure.
back with my $50 million going, holy crap, she got away with another one. Holy crap. And then I would think at some point she would get tired of saying these things and not getting fired. And then she would probably just say, fuck this, I'm out of here, and get the $50 million.
Potentially. I mean, look at Brian Williams, right? He's MSNBC now.
Right.
After getting booted off of NBC for lying. And I saw somebody had a meme out of him roping him into this, saying he was there when these blog posts were written, and it definitely wasn't Joy.
Oh, my goodness. It makes you wonder, though, this whole Tom Brokaw thing. And how many women have accused Tom Brokaw of doing something
I don't know. I know that 60 women wrote a letter in his defense, I believe, is the one number that's locked in my brain on this.
There's at least one woman that accused him. I don't know if more have stepped forward, but it just cracked me up when I saw that it seems like the faces of the Tom Brokaw defense are Rachel Maddow and Andrea Mitchell.
Yes.
Although I will say, Rachel Maddow, she was cute back in high school. Did you see the yearbook picture for your senior year?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Senior year, I was like, she looked like she was cute.
Mm-hmm.
She's still kind of... Where am I going with this?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm going to stop right now, and I want to apologize.
Save it for when you hack into Joy Reid's blog and post things.
I want to apologize to the gay community for remarks that I've made during this broadcast that I'm not even sure I made, to be honest with you. I don't think I did make them.
No.
But if I've hurt anyone in the gay community, I apologize for that person who made those remarks. That wasn't me.
Right.
So.
No, it looks like at this point, the most recent head count that I can find for his accusers stands at 2.
Oh.
Yeah. He's got to up his game.
Right? That's lazy.
Yeah, that's lame.
Well, I let's face it. Probably most of these women just slept with him because it was Tom Brokaw, and they thought it would help his career. And now they're complaining because he's 80, and someone may have found out that they had sex with Tom Brokaw, and they think, "Ew, that old guy." Like, no, when he was younger, he was on the over there and reporting on stuff like the Berlin Wall collapsing and that junk. Do people still watch the nightly news? Is that still a thing?
I think so. I think that the 3 major news networks get the biggest audiences still.
Wow. When's the last time you've watched NBC Nightly News?
Couldn't tell you.
I can't even tell you who the 3 anchors are anymore.
No. I think Lester Holt might be one of them now.
Yeah, wasn't Lester Holt temporarily supposed to fill in, and then they just gave him the gig?
Yeah. And I only know that because I saw they did a minute and 50-second piece on Jordan Peterson I think it was on Friday that it aired. Mm-hmm. And the title of it was something like, "Who is Jordan Peterson?" It's a minute and 50 seconds. They have Peterson talking about himself for a grand total, and yes, I timed this, of 22 seconds. Mm-hmm. They bring on someone to trash talk him, and they gave that guy 11 seconds. And after watching the minute and 50 seconds now 2 or 3 times, and I'm quite familiar with Peterson and his work, read his book, watch his lectures, all this kind of stuff. They didn't tell me a damn thing about who he is, aside from, he's a professor and a clinical psychologist. Not a professor at the University of Toronto who used to work at Harvard. Mm-hmm. None of this kind of stuff. He's a bestseller. His book is a huge bestseller. It's all about how he's this hero to the favorite. The title of the piece of the clip is "Who is Jordan Peterson, favorite figure of the alt-right?"
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Of course. And he tweeted this morning, "This is just getting stupid." It really is. I mean, it's bizarre. If you're And this is what I've learned more and more about this, and I'm trying to figure out a better name for this aside from narrative building masquerading as news. Because it's not fake news. It's just they present this the way they want you to think about it and then move along from there. And this came up when the Comey memos came out, I think it was, and I went and looked at how the Washington Post and the New York Times covered it. And they don't give you a single fact until you get way down in the article. And we all know that most people just read headlines. So they're not there to tell you what the news is.
News has become fan fiction.
Yes. There you go. Fan fiction news. But even to call it news is not correct.
Right.
Like, this isn't news. This is supposed to be a bio intro. Who is this guy that's captured all the people's attention? He's just passed in the last week 1 million followers on a million subscribers on YouTube.
Okay, this is what I want to ask you, because you know, you and I met, in 2010, 2011, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
And you were working with one of these groups on the right. I don't know if we should mention their name or not. I don't know if you care to. And I was working with them as well. And so we've been in the movement for a long time, meeting people across the country, talking to some of the movers and shakers in the movement. Try to put a number, if you can, on how many people in the United States would identify themselves as alt-right.
I'd say maybe 100,000.
Maybe.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's high, but we'll go with 100,000. You would think by watching the news, reading what's on mainstream media websites, that the alt-right has 25 million people in it.
Oh, at least.
So how many people voted for Trump? 60 million?
Yeah.
All alt-righters.
Yep.
It's absolutely amazing. They had that the Charlottesville thing. They blew that up. There were 500 people there at the most, and how many of the people that were there were actually media and counter protesters?
Right.
You know, I was in Denver at a Red State convention, and I stayed at a hotel where they were having a furry convention. And there were Northwest Furry Convention or Mountain something, I can't remember, and there were like 1,800 people there.
Yeah, there are more furries than there are alt-righters. And I don't know what the Venn diagram between the two groups looks like, but I know. Back when we talked to those guys, they were quite lovely.
Yeah.
And
but I never thought at that point, holy shit, the furries are taking over.
Right. But they have to do that. This is the narrative building, the fan fiction stuff that you're talking about. We need to have
Good morning
an enemy.
and welcome to AM Joy. A community that
I can't. Sorry.
No, I tell you, it's hilarious.
Oh, it's a community that she supports. They're
community.
hurting.
They are. She should write them all a check.
Right?
Yes. That's what she should have done. Said, I'm just going to make huge donations to all these groups, because she had a bunch of people on from nonprofits. She should have just handed out checks. Like the old indulgences.
How much coin do you think she makes?
Enough to hire a bunch of people to look into this bullshit and not bat an eye.
You don't think
you gotta have stupid money.
You don't think that NBC helped her out with those lawyers?
No. I think, honestly, fingers. NBC might be in the business of protecting her ass and keeping her on the air, but to the point of, facilitating this delusion, I think they got to draw the line somewhere.
How is she that much of an asset to NBC and MSNBC? I can understand if she's 8 o'clock, if this is Maddow, pulling in 2.5 million people every night. I get it, but even Morning Joe. Okay, I know Morning Joe makes a lot of money, and the movers and shakers in the media watch Morning Joe. But you talk to anybody in the Midwest, outside of the Beltway, I people aren't tuning into Morning Joe in the morning. It's the Today Show. It's Good Morning America. So on the weekends, I would love to know Joy Reid's numbers. And really, if we put on a Billy Mays infomercial in its place, would there be much of a drop-off in viewership over at MSNBC?
I can't tell.
Would anyone notice other than Joy? Why do I feel like I'm sounding like Glenn Beck? Would anyone notice?
I don't know. He's sounding more like Alex Jones.
Alex Jones does have a good radio voice.
Yeah, no, he does. But I don't know. I'll check into her numbers.
Good Lord. You can't tell. Interchange. They can put anybody in on that 2-hour block on the weekend.
I don't know. I'm reading an article from Forbes from March 30th. The headline is that she's... Oh, God. Of course, I have to continue. Sorry.
You're fine.
Can't just go straight to their site.
Hold on while you're doing that.
Support, and that I deeply care about, is hurting because of some despicable and truly offensive posts being attributed to me. Now, many of you have seen these blog posts circulating online and in social media. Many of them are homophobic, discriminatory, and outright weird and hateful. When a friend found them in December and
when a friend found them,
I was stunned.
That friend.
Who's the friend?
That's the guy that I was telling you about. His name is Jamie Maz. He's her friend, the Twitter guy that found all these, I'm sure. I'm sure what happened is one of her friends saw this guy tweeting this stuff and was like, oh, shit, Joy. Somebody's about to blow you up. So, and I was able to find an article that I don't have to whitelist the page for. It's on Essence magazine. From March 29th of this year. Black Girl Brilliance, Joy Reid's AM Joy beats out CNN's quarterly ratings for the first time. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but does that mean anything? That's setting the bar kind of low.
Yeah.
Is that because Joy's show is so good, or because CNN has completely fallen off the cliff?
No, it could be one or the other. But remember, CNN is always boosted by airports.
It's true.
Joy Reid leads weekend rating surge. They're ahead of CNN.
I'm telling you right now.
Average total audience, ready for this? 1.287 million.
Get the fuck out the front door.
Nope. I'm telling you, Fingers, look at Twitter any Saturday or Sunday morning, and AM Joy is trending. It's nuts. This is why I watch it. I'm like, I need to know what the hell they're talking about over there.
1 million people are tuning into this shit?
Almost 1.3 million.
Wow.
She's a champion of the resistance.
But you're telling me if they pulled her off the air and put Ron Reagan Jr. back on MSNBC, he wouldn't be getting 1 million people?
I don't know.
Wow.
The
American people are starved for entertainment.
Yes.
This, at the end of the day, this probably could help her career, at least in the short term. This is the first time I've ever clicked on a Joy Reid video to watch it.
Well, now you can see why I watch it. It's entertaining. It's so bizarre.
How do you not start yelling at your TV constantly?
No, I just laugh at it. I don't get upset. I mean, they're punching at nothing.
Yeah.
They think that they're doing something huge and important, and that their words can even hurt people.
Hurt a community.
Yes. An entire community. Well, several communities.
Well, we're almost at an hour, and I have to cut things short because I've got a car. I'm going on a Sunday drive.
Nope. Your tires are not flat. I don't believe that your tires went flat.
I'm going to have to get the FBI involved.
Please. Hire a tire expert.
Yep. Well, you can catch the Enough Already podcast on SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, iTunes. Leave us a review on iTunes, please. It really helps us out. And now, because of Tracy L. Connor's hard work and dedication to Enough Already. You can catch it on YouTube. The World of Tomorrow Today, Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think this was a thing, that people listen to podcasts on YouTube, but they do.
Yep.
And now you can listen to Enough Already on YouTube as well. Final thoughts, Tracy?
Well, I'm upset that I watched 2 hours of James Comey interviews that we never got to talk about. But that's fine. We'll make up for it.
We could do a special podcast later if you want to.
We might have to do that.
Okay. Well, we listen, this was such
it's a huge news week, and we talked about Joy Reid. I mean, honestly, Cosby got convicted.
Uh-huh.
Kanye West broke the internet.
We talked about Joy Reid for 45 minutes.
We've got your Simpsons controversy with Apu is now all of a sudden very upsetting to everybody. And I guess some idiot made a documentary about this.
Brilliant. Wish we would have thought of that.
Hurt an entire community, fingers.
That whole show isn't a giant stereotype.
I know.
The cop is a fat, lazy bastard that likes to eat donuts. The dad is stupid. We don't even know how he can hold a damn job. The wife holds the whole house together, and she's a homemaker. You got Montgomery Burns and Abe Simpson are both old, so they're obviously confused and they need help to even crack a damn peanut. The whole goddamn show is based on stereotypes, but we have to go after Apu. I'm glad the goddamn thing's about ready to go off the air.
All right. I'm not even going to finish my list of things that happened this week. We should just end right there.
We'll be back soon with an all new Enough Already.